and it sounds like there's an element of intuition there, and which may be a personality trait depending on what personality metric you look at. And it would seem that some people are, if they're open, curious again, if they've a higher level of intuition, they may be more open to seeing the inflection points. Would that be accurate, or is it a skill that anyone can learn? Just that awareness of you say what's bubbling underneath for a long time, and if you harness it, it can have a 10 times effect.
Oh, I definitely think it's something you can learn. Like any muscle, thinking strategically. The more you do it, the better you get. A couple of words on intuition. We all know of leaders who say, well, I trust my gut and blah, blah, blah. Well, if your gut has been exposed to similar experiences to the one that you're in now, well, then you can trust it because, you develop a certain memory, an intuition for how patterns fit together. But if you're in a completely new environment, then your intuition is not going to be a good guide. And you need to really look at data, you need to look at different sources of input, you need to get diverse inputs. And I really think spotting inflection points coming is this interesting mixture of seeing the patterns and then drawing some conclusions about when they may become realistic. So I'll give you an example from the book. Back in 2018, when I was writing the book, which came out in 2019, I said, Facebook's business model cannot last. I mean, it'll last for a while. It's doing fine at the time I was writing it. But, to create a whole business that basically involves lying to your customers about what you're doing with their data, that's not sustainable. Eventually, things will catch up with them. And my publisher at the time reacted with shock. He said, what? You think Facebook's going to get in trouble? Because if you go back to 2018, right, the company could do no wrong. This was just before the Cambridge Analytica scandal. And I said, yeah, there's absolutely clear. The average person has absolutely no idea that when they post that baby picture on Facebook, that Facebook owns it and all the data around it and all the thing. And not only do they own it, they're going to sell it. And most people are horrified when they learn that. And so it's starting to happen, right, where Apple has now introduced this app tracking permission. So if you want to put your app on the Apple Store, you have to include code that says, do not track, or ask. You have to ask permission to be tracked. And so far, only 16% of the average person allows the apps to track them across the internet. So people don't want that. And if you're doing something people don't want for long enough, eventually it's going to catch up with you.